one of the most valuable books that I've ever read was The Gap and the Gain. And it encourages us to look where we came from and where we are now. Now, that's not to say we shouldn't have great, big, hairy, audacious goals, but if we focus too much on where we are and where we want to be, that is the gap, and that's what we don't have. And I did do that, by the way, for much of my life, and I did have success, but quite a lot of dissatisfaction. So do not follow my example in that regard.
We're a lot more alike than we are different, Don.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling a lot of us driver personalities have done that. So if you're like me, then I encourage you to pick up that book, Rick. Gap in the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy, I believe it is.
I appreciate that. I'm a
Maybe
reader.
maybe somebody that's read it can put that in the chat for him. Okay, you guys, I am stepping in for Brent, and I've got a really powerful message for you today about something that has been probably been one of the greatest tools that I have utilized in my career to enjoy the success that I have had. By the way, I've mostly succeeded. On a few occasions, I have failed miserably, and I've had to pick myself back up off the mat a time or two. But for the most part, I have had success. And I would attribute it to mentors that I've had in my life and the support and accountability that they have provided. So what I want to talk to you guys about is having a accountability support person that is doing what you want to do, right? And they have traveled the journey that you're going to travel. They've navigated the potholes that you may or may not fall in. They can probably help you to avoid a few here and there. And so I'll tell you a little story about my time at Keller Williams, actually. And I had a good run at Keller Williams from 2000 to 2010. I think I'm the only person there that has successfully built 10 of their franchises from the ground up, one of which became most profitable, which was Roseville, where Brent was also a TL a few years behind me. And I was, when I started there, I was an early TL. So I took that role on in 2000. And in pretty short order, I got to where I was recruiting 5 a month. And back in that day, that was actually pretty good. And so I'm feeling good about myself and that I had gotten this market center underway. It was the first KW in Northern California. But, you know, sure enough, like Rick has done, I'm asking myself, okay, well, I did that, but where do I want to go, right? And I found out that there were people, at least one, that was recruiting twice what I was recruiting. And her name was Cheryl, or is Cheryl Sidoti. She's out of Atlanta, Georgia. And so I just reached out to her and I said, Cheryl, I'm a new TL. I'm doing 5 recruits a month, and I hear you're doing twice what I'm doing. I'm working over 60 hours a week. And so I am not exactly sure how it would be possible that you would be doing twice what I'm doing. And she was so sweet. And after some conversation, and she agreed to meet with me at the next Keller Williams event that I was going to be attending. She finally was like, I'll never forget, in her little Southern draw, she says, oh, honey, if I can do it, I just know you can do it, with this big old smile, right? And she agreed to mentor me, and we would get together once a week. And sure enough, in 90 days, working less than 60 hours a week, I was recruiting 10 people a month. And if you would have told me that were possible 91 days before that, I would have thought you crazy, because I was already working 60 hours a week, right? And literally just completely exhausted. And so, by a show of hands, who besides me has been the benefactor of mentors in their life that have helped you? Clark's got 2 hands up. So does Rick. Okay, many of you guys, all right? So this is not a untested system that I'm introducing to you today. I do, however, feel that it is a critical one given the circumstances that we have in the market today. Did anybody notice since about May 2022 that we had a little correction in the market? Notice a little correction? Okay. Yeah. And I don't, for those, the nerdy stat people like myself, I actually heard that our annualized volume has fallen below the crash of 2008 level. We've dropped below 4 million annualized sales nationwide. We're 3.9. Okay. So if there's a silver lining in all this, we're probably at the bottom, you guys, or we're very, very close to it. We might still see a little bit of a seasonal adjustment. I could see us maybe going to 3.8 million, but we're probably looking at the worst of it right now from a transactional perspective. So if you're here showing up, still doing the work, you can rest assured that at least 250,000 of your compatriots have gone on vacation, and they are not working, and they are not doing what they need to do in order to succeed in a tough environment like we have today. Okay. So one of the things that I had happen this last week was I had a dear friend reach out to me that's in EXP, not in my organization, but in EXP, and he's pretty discouraged. You know, his revenue share was down, and he wasn't feeling a ton of support, and so I said, hey man, let's just be accountability partners. I could use a good kick in the butt myself. And who has heard the term that the teacher is the one that learns the most? Okay, right? So I knew that if I agreed to mentor and support this individual, that I was going to be a benefactor, right? And so he and I made a pact that we would set a daily goal. In my case, it would be that I would reach out to 2 people in my organization and love on them, give them a little bit of support, whatever it is that they might need. And by the way, I don't start at the bottom of my organization. I start at the top, okay, because I can't multiply zeros, right? And then I'm going to make 2 icon calls for people that may be open to looking at EXP as an opportunity. And I'm going to call 1 independent broker. Can anybody guess how long it's been since I've made those 5 calls before I made this agreement with him? Well, if you guessed it had been a while, you're right. Okay. So my point is that by me providing support to him, it required me, if I was going to be a mentor of any, you know, credibility, I was going to have to show up myself and do the work, right? And so I made an agreement. I said, hey, when I do these 5 calls, I'm going to put a 5 in one of those green little check marks from the iPhone, and I'll send it over to you each day. And then we will meet once a week. In this case, he and I are agreeing to meet every Saturday from 10:30 to 11 o'clock. Okay. I'm just curious though, how many of you have an accountability support person right now? Raise a hand if you do. Clark, Philip. How do I say your name? Is it Marion? Marion? Okay, perfect. Marion, okay. Barton as well. Rick, again, same hands going up. Pamela, okay, fantastic. All right. So to those of you that are already on your game, that's fantastic. I am going to give you some advice in regards to those relationships as well, but kudos for doing it. Now, are you guys, for those of you that are doing it now, are you doing a daily text accountability with your partner? Is that yeah, Clark is, Pamela is. Okay, yeah, okay, perfect. And then do you get together once a week for a short call or something? Okay. By the way, yeah, Philip does. Let me tell you about the benefits of this approach, even versus coaching. And by the way, from 2010 until about 6 months ago, I was a professional coach. So I'm all for hiring coaches, okay? But what I have been observing is that not everybody is keen on spending $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 for coaches right now. They're wanting to tighten their belt a little bit. And so one of the benefits of a accountability support agreement or relationship as opposed to a coaching relationship is that you're doing it with somebody that is doing ideally what you want to do. So if you're asking yourself, well, what kind of accountability support person should I have? I want somebody that's one click ahead of you. When I give this training on around production, I tell people if you're doing one sale a month, I want somebody that's doing two for you. If you're doing two, then get somebody doing three. If you're doing three, get somebody that's doing four. Okay. It's also important to ensure that this person is a match in terms of the way that you do business. So there are transactional agents that do huge volume, but you kind of feel like you're got a dollar sign on your forehead sometimes and you're being sloughed off to assistants. And there are relationship agents. Okay. Figure out who you are. I'm sure you probably know, and make sure that your partner is that way. Or if this is about attraction, make sure that the way that you want to do attraction is the way that they do it roughly. It doesn't have to be precisely the same, but it should be pretty close in alignment, right? And the benefit again, though, of having this is that you're getting support and accountability from somebody that is doing right now what you want to do. Okay. And you can't always say that of a coach. I mean, back in the day, I was a legitimate producer, but it's been more than a decade since I sold a piece of real estate. Right. And so I might be coaching somebody and they can be saying, well, Don, that sounds really good, but this market is different. Right. And I don't want to get into a piss and match over that with them. I have been this is my third correction. So I've been through a few of these. And so, but the point is that if you've got somebody doing what you want to do, then that helps, at least for me, when I'm in that kind of situation. Like, for example, if you had told me that in less hours than I was working, that I would be able to double my recruits per month from 5 to 10 before I met Cheryl Sidoti, I would have said you were totally insane. Okay. So what that relationship can do for you is really give you the confidence to know that what is possible. Okay. The other thing that I want to encourage you to do in this regard is regulate the relationship. And what do I mean by that? Not only we're texting daily, we're meeting weekly, but I want you to, in the relationship, in that context, after 12 weeks. Okay. And I'll tell you why, is because what happens, I have found, is that when you begin, you guys tell me if you have had this phenomena. When you begin a coaching relationship, when you begin an accountability mastermind relationship, you perform outstandingly well in the beginning. Over time, the relationship gets friendly, and for whatever reason, you and they start letting each other off the hook a little bit. And I have found after about 90 days that it's just too friendly. And they now know about a bunch of the skeletons in your closet. They now know your line of excuses. And they actually start buying into it a little bit. And that is not good for you. Okay. So I want you to update your mentor relationship every 90 days. And if you were going to choose a rotation, I would say, think of it like, you know how I'm saying, I want you ideally to have somebody that is doing what you want to do now, right? So you're recruiting one a month and they're recruiting two, or you're recruiting cappers and they're recruiting icons, or you're recruiting icons and they're recruiting entire production teams, or you're recruiting production teams and they're recruiting entire brokerages. Okay. I don't know. Well, they're one click ahead of you, right? Well, both parties can't be one click ahead of the other. So if you're thinking about a rotation, it doesn't have to be exactly this way, but generally speaking, I would say take 1 quarter to be the mentor and then take 1 quarter to be the mentee and give back like Cheryl did for me. By the way, after all that difference that she made for me, I tried to pay her. She wouldn't accept any money, so I just bought her a scarf at Nordstrom's, right? This is, some of these relationships will end up being lifelong relationships for you. And so another piece that I want you to think about is have it be in a referral market to you. So if you're practicing real estate as well, make sure that they're not in the same competitive market with you, okay? Have them be in what you would consider to be the most logical referral market. You know, for Clark, he's in the greater Sacramento area. And so East Bay might be a great referral avenue for him, right? If you want to get an even bigger bang for the buck, how about choosing somebody that's non-EXP today? You're going to be communicating with this person for 90 days. Okay. Who's to say that they have to be EXP? Right? And I would say, especially if you could, when you're in the mentor role, right? Because they're looking up to you for guidance. I think that that would be super effective as a recruiting strategy. You know, what if this ends up getting you a couple extra icons a year? That accountability and support, right? Okay, so there were several of you. Clark, sounds like you've had a number of different accountability support relationships. no doubt you've acted as a mentor, perhaps you've been the mentee at times. How do you open up the dialogue to do that relationship? What has been a practice of yours if you wanted somebody to mentor you?
Basically, I invite them out to coffee and develop that relationship with them. And it's amazing what I've found out, because for me, I was really nervous to contact somebody that, they're so far beyond me, that type of thing. They wouldn't have the time for me. And it really quite is the opposite. When I connected with them, we developed that relationship, and I asked them just candidly, would you be willing to mentor me? And they were so open to doing that, because quite honestly, people don't ask them to do that. I mean, they're at the peak of their success. And I remember a mentor of mine telling me years ago that you just don't know how much I know. He says, and you're not, I'm astounded that you're not asking me more.
Yeah.
I'm not astounded that you're not using me more, because in this, Don, you've helped me tremendously in several situations. And because it's a rising tide raises all ships, we're all one big fire. And it's and this is, I think, one of the things that are so underutilized in our business.
Yeah.
And I've been a part of other organizations where that's all we taught. Be mentored by somebody, be coached by somebody, duplication, example center leadership, all this kind of stuff. And I think it's underutilized in EXP.
Well, it is. And yet I would say, because I've been in a boutique brokerage, I've been at Remax, I've been at KW, I've never seen the spirit of collaboration at such a high level as is in this organization.
Absolutely.
It really, and of course, when you're at KW, you think you got it going on with culture. And I did at that time, thought my offices had wonderful culture. And I would say they did have good culture, but I don't know if it's because each of those are independently owned and operated franchises, or the fact that we all own stock in the same company, or that people that are building organizations think more in abundance. But there's just something about this and the people involved that is really refreshing. It's just so nice. And so to Clark's point, you guys, this is an area to be fearless. Okay. Now, I do want to caution you a little bit. Don't be going to Brent. If you've got 19 people in your organization and he has 19,000, that's not one click ahead of you. Okay. He's 100 clicks ahead of you. Right. Now, Brent, of course, being Brent, is going to want to help you no matter what. Okay. But that's not necessarily going to best serve you. If you're at 19 agents, get yourself a mentor that's at 49 or 69. Okay. And just has gone through that journey just a little bit further, but the whippings that they took to get from where you are to where they are still fresh in their mind, and they can help you avoid a few of those potholes here and there. Okay. So who is willing to share where they are now and what their big, audacious, hairy goal is that they would want support around? Who's got a big goal? All right, David Mills.
Oh,
Tell us where are you now? What's your focus, and where do you want to be?
I'm at 49 agents now in my organization. I have personally sponsored 22 agents.
Wow. Okay.
And my goal for the end of 2024 is to have 200 agents.
Okay. And how long have you been attracting how long is it taking you to attract those 22 agents?
3 years
Okay,
I've been with the company.
okay. And I presume in those 3 years, you've probably attracted about 36 people, about one a month, and you have 22 left?
Correct. That's a good,
Okay.
that's about right.
Okay. All right. So you're by the way, to attract 20 is kind of a magic number in this model. Okay. Statistically, AJ Maida taught me this a couple years ago. He goes, statistically, when you attract 20, you should have within that one business builder. Okay. Now, it does matter if you're intentional about who you're attracting. Do you have a particular demographic that you go after production wise or teams, or what is your thing, David?
At first I didn't have a thing. I would just, anyone that had a pulse, I would talk to them. But now I'm being more discerning and looking for people that are already inspired, people that I don't have to motivate as much. I'm just looking for agents that are producers. If they're producers, that's really my only qualification now. It's producers, and they're already self-motivated to build the business.
Okay,
Not looking
fantastic.
to pump anybody up.
And when you did personal, or do you do personal production now?
I do probably about 18 million a year personal.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're a top producer. Okay, so can I give you a little encouragement?
Oh, please. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, if I was a baller like you doing $18 million a year in volume, I would not intentionally be calling anybody that was less than an icon.
Okay.
Okay. Now, anybody that comes to me that is motivated, they could be brand new. Okay, I'm going to talk to. I closed 51 deals my first full year in the business. There are people that are going to come in and light the world afire. Okay, but the thing of it is that the way that the EXP model is designed is that you literally are committing financial malpractice on your family if you are doing icon level production and not brokering your deals at EXP. Okay. Now, in different levels of production, I can't say that we have such an overwhelming benefit. Okay. Now, anyone can succeed at EXP all the way from brand new to capper to icon to team to whatever. Okay. But I'm just saying, if we were overwhelmingly had an advantage, it would be with the icon. And the fact that you are an icon, you hold some credibility with those folks, right? You can speak their language.
Yes.
Right. And so when you prospect, how much prospecting do you do?
I call maybe 4 agents a week.
Okay.
I used to do more, but I'm running into so many roadblocks. I have a list on the whiteboard in front of me of agents that I've already gone through, and it's like EXP seemed to be blackballed in this town or something. It's like people are they're looking at it, they're saying it's nice, but no, it's not for me. So
okay, so you're staring at a guy that has a big list of icon level producers. Okay.
Wow.
Write down this number, 503-812-2631. 503-812-2631.
Got it.
Okay. I'll get you enough icons that you won't, that is going to cease to be an excuse for you.
Okay.
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 So, but here's the thing. You do 18 million. okay, there is four, what did you say, 4 calls a week?
Yeah.
If you were mentoring me and I told you I had 49 agents and I wanted to have 200 agents on December 31, 2024, would you consider 4 calls a week adequate to achieve that objective?
No, I'm confessing. I have the numbers have decreased for me. It's really been discouraging. I am sorry, but it's true.
Okay, so are you really committed to 200 agents on December 31, 2024?
Absolutely. I am there. I am inspired. Yes.
Okay. Are you willing to call 4 icons a day, 5 days a week?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. And are you willing on the first week that you fail to achieve that to send Brent, by the way, you're supposed to be donating to the Forward Edge if you're on this 1% call. I want you to commit to donating an extra $150 the first week that you don't make your 20 icon calls. Are you agreeable to that?
Yes. So an extra 150 for the week that I don't do the phone calls.
You don't do 20 like you do 18 or 19 or something or less.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Now, all right. And I have a partner right now. So I can't agree to be your partner right now. Okay. But if you put a note in your calendar for 90 days and you reach out to me, I'll do it for 90 days with you. And by the way, in the chat, you're seeing that there's a group that works through a track boss and Randy Bird, and those guys are actively calling every day. That's a great program to get involved with as well. Okay. So I need to wrap up, but David, you
Yes.
are a legit producer. Okay. I want you to bring the same level of discipline and energy and intention to your attraction that you've brought to have such a successful real estate practice. It's like you're playing pro ball there and you're playing in the minor leagues here. Stop that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And let me know. Oh, wait. Well, first of all, you need to text me so I can get you a list of icons, right?
Okay.
Okay. And then in 90 days, I want to know. And by the way, when I say calls, I'm not saying contacts. I just want to have 100% control. You make 4 calls a day and get yourself an accountability partner and send them that check mark. Right?
Okay. All right. And you say that I should contact you after 90 days?
Well, you're going to need to contact me tomorrow for your list,
Tomorrow.
but after 90
Okay.
days, if you want me to be your accountability partner for 90 to 120, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we need to wrap up the call. This is supposed to be a half hour call. Rob, are you there?
I am always here.
Okay. And is the sales call going to begin here in another 5 minutes or so?
At 2:10, I'll start the timer as soon as you're done. At 2:10, we are going to have a sales call. And so text people, invite people. It's going to be a great one.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to take a couple more minutes, but I don't want to interfere with that time. So is anybody on the call today that has an organization of 200 people or close to that, between 150 and 250? Well, Andre, dude, you got over 1,000.
I do.
I raised my hand before you said the number, sorry.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. You're 3 or 4 clips ahead of David. Michael, what do you have?
188.
Okay. Any chance that you'd be willing to be accountability partners with David for the next 90 days?
David,
I would, but I think I might want to raise the bounty if you fall out of integrity. I'm thinking like more like $1,000 because you can't play with the big dogs if you pee like a puppy. But maybe
Well-
it's a number between like 150 and 1,000.
I will, I'm gonna let you guys work out that detail, but David, do you see how you've got like the perfect accountability partner right there? And Michael's a stud producer as well, okay? So you guys would make great partners.
Okay, David, I'm gonna put my contact in the chat. So write it down and call me after, okay? And we'll set it up.
All right. Guys, do you see how difficult it is to get like the perfect accountability partner? This is not rocket science, right? And like Andre just said, Attract Boss has got a fantastic program as well. Check that out, attractboss.com. But make sure that you've got some system in place, because you know what? It's actually kind of tough now. And when I got into the EXP, I'll close with this thought. I had owned a bunch of brokerages, so I thought, oh my gosh, well, this is just a no-brainer for brokerages to fold in with EXP, build their sales organization on this platform. And I would call them, and you know what they'd tell me in 2019, 2021? Go fly a kite, man. I'm making more money than I've ever made. Well, those same independent brokers are not flush now. Okay, so one of the things that I want you to be thinking about is, because of the environment that we have today, what opportunities are present now that have not been in the past? How can you seize the moment and solve a big problem? Call independent brokers. The bigger, the better, right? They have a problem. They are now not making money by and large. You've got an amazing solution for them. Okay. All right. I'm going to sign off. I really appreciate you guys' time and attention. And I hope that if you get yourself, I'm under, I'll put my name in the deal. And for those of you that have been inspired to get yourself a accountability support partner, message me in Workplace and say, hey, Don, I got somebody, I'm on it. Here's what my goal is. All right, go make it happen. Love you guys.
Thanks, Don. That was awesome.
Thanks, John.
That was
Yeah,
awesome,
thank you.
Don. Thank you.
You're the best,
My
Don.
pleasure.
Thank